Good morning, students. Today's discussion is class 11 microeconomics, ordinal utility analysis, which is also called indifference curve analysis, and it is also called Higgs and Allen analysis. Why? Because these are the two economists and they propounded the theory of indifference curve in the year 1881. That's why it is also called Higgs and Allen. So you need to remember all three names because we simply don't know in question paper what would be the heading of the question. Sometimes it is asked ordinary utility analysis, sometimes indifference curve analysis, or sometimes Higgs and Allen model of consumer equilibrium. So yesterday we discussed about the ordinal utility. In last 2 or 3 classes we discussed in detail how a consumer attains equilibrium in case he is consuming one goods or he is consuming 2 different goods. But the main drawbacks of cardinal utility analysis is that many economists believe that utility is something subjective, hence it can be felt, but it cannot be measured and expressed with the help of a number. Simply saying, numerically we cannot express utility. And of course, we also agree with that view, but it doesn't mean that the cardinal utility analysis totally loses its value. It has its own importance. It is self-sufficient to explain the theory of consumer equilibrium, but rather a better analysis we will come across in ordinal utility analysis. So, according to Higgs and Allen, utility is subjective, it cannot be numerically measured. So, how to explain consumer equilibrium? Then, they propounded the theory, indifference curve theory, and according to them that utility cannot be measured numerically, but when we are consuming 2 different goods, then we can simply put the respective utilities or satisfaction we are getting from the consumption of 2 different goods X and Y. We can put them in order. That we can say, suppose for example, we are consuming aloo vanda and we are consuming a samosa. Then we can simply say that by consuming aloo vanda, I received 10 utils of utility, and by consuming samosa, I received 12 util of utility. So this is quite vague and meaningless because utility cannot be measured numerically. But of course, we can put their respective utilities in order. That we can, without any difficulty, say that yes, I received or I got more utility or more satisfaction from the consumption of a samosa than from the consumption of a aloo vanda. So here we put the respective utilities in order. That in first order we put the utility of samosa, and in second order we put the utility of aloo vanda. So this is putting utilities in order. Now suppose we are consuming 2 different goods X and Y. Then 3 different things can happen. We can derive more utility from the consumption of X, that is X is greater than Y. X is greater than Y means the price or the value. We are not talking about that. We are talking about the utilities we are deriving from the consumption of X and from the consumption of Y. And the other thing may also happen. Suppose we are consuming X and Y, and if we are getting more utility and satisfaction from the consumption of Y, then X is less than Y. 2 different cases. We may derive more satisfaction from X, or we may derive more satisfaction from Y. And a third situation is also possible, that we are deriving almost equal satisfaction from the consumption of X and Y. So in that case, the respective utilities are equal, and we are not preferring x over y or y over x. But in the first case, if as we are getting more utility from the consumption of x, then we would prefer x to y, and here we would prefer y to x. But here we are not preferring because we are getting equal amount of utility from the consumption of both x and y. Hence, in the language of economics or in the language of Hicks and Allen, we can say that we are indifferent between the consumption of x and y. I repeat the sentence. We are indifferent. That means we are not preferring either of the two. So here comes the concept of indifference curve. So what is an indifference curve? Again, we will try to explain the meaning of indifference curve and how to represent it with the help of an imaginary table and a diagram. So what is indifference curve? If someone asks you, a layman asks you that what do you mean by indifference curve, then what you have to say? Indifference curve is the locus. Try to remember the word locus. Locus means connecting line. So indifference curve is the locus of different points that express different combination of x and y. As you can see in the diagram, point A, it is expressing a definite combination of x and y. Point B, another combination of x and y, where we reduce the consumption of y and we increase the consumption of x. And point C and point D. So indifference curve is nothing but the locus of different points that represents the different combination of two goods, and more importantly, our consumer is indifferent among all the combinations. That means the level of satisfaction the consumer is deriving from combination A is equal to the level of satisfaction the consumer is deriving from combination B and combination C and combination D. All combination of x and y, that is A, B, C, D, they are giving equal amount of satisfaction to our consumer. So this is the meaning or the definition of indifference curve. Then we will discuss why the belly is inclined towards the point of origin. And just remember the one more curve we have already written, that PPC, where the belly is protruding outside, and also the concept of MRE, marginal rate of substitution, which is also called the slope of the curve, that is the ratio between the amount of sacrifice and the amount of gain. That is, amount of sacrifice of y is del y, means a change in y, and amount of gain in x, that is the amount change in x, that is called del x. This is del y and this is del x, and the slope is nothing but del y upon del x. That determines the shape of the indifference curve. And you see this diagram. Here we have got four different combinations of x and y. Sorry, I have written here A and B. This is x and this is y. And you see here, in the first combination, the consumer is consuming 1 unit of x and 10 units of y. And he has not changed his combination. That's why MRE is silent here. But in the next combination B, the consumer is increasing the consumption of x by 1 unit. So just try to remember the theory of that marginal utility, that the consumer's income being fixed. If he wishes to consume more of one goods, then he has to sacrifice the consumption of other goods. That's why when our consumer increased his consumption of x by 1 unit from 1 to 2, he has to sacrifice 3 units of y. And now the new combination became 2 units of x and 7 units of y. The third combination C, our consumer increased once again the consumption of x by 1 unit, and he has to reduce 2 units of y. He sacrificed 2 units of y. So see here, in the first case, in the first change of combination, our consumer reduced to 3 units of Y. Now he is reducing 2 units of Y, and from here to D, the consumer is reducing 1 unit of Y. For what? To gain 1 additional unit of X. Here, the amount of X is increasing by only 1 amount at a time, only 1 unit at a time. And from first to second combination, 3, the ratio became that del Y and del X. MRE, or the slope of the indifference curve, is nothing but del Y means a change in Y upon a change in X. So change in X is gained here because the consumer is increasing the consumption of X, and change in Y is sacrifice here because he has to forego, in order to increase 1 more unit of X, he has to sacrifice some amount of Y. So in the first case, the ratio del Y by del X comes 1:3, next it is 1:2, next it is 1:1. So gradually, what is happening to the MRE? In case of, remember, in case of production possibility curve or PPC, the MRE or marginal rate of substitution was going on increasing and increasing and increasing as we increase the production of one goods. But when we increase the consumption of one good here, the marginal rate of substitution or marginal rate of exchange, or which is also called the slope of the indifference curve, is going on falling and falling and falling. Of course, this type of curve is called convex to the origin. This 0 is the point of origin, and the belly is protruding inside, and it is giving the concave convexity to the curve. Hence, an indifference curve always is convex to the point of origin. Why? Why it is convex? Because the MRE of the slope is going on falling and falling. In fact, while discussing different characteristics of indifference curve and assumptions of indifference curve, in detail we will discuss why it happens like this. Why the marginal rate of substitution or the slope of the indifference curve goes on falling and falling and falling. So, this is all about indifference curve, which is also cardinal utility analysis and Hicks and Allen model of consumer equilibrium. So, it is enough for today. Go through your books, just check out about everything what we discussed today. I have given everything in detail about indifference curve, and just you try, always try before my class, before my video reaches you. You always try to study something in advance, so that something would be there in your mind and you can grasp well. So, just to conclude, this is indifference, imaginary indifference schedule. This is indifference curve. It is convex to the point of origin. The convexity of indifference curve is due to the falling marginal rate of exchange. The slope of the indifference curve goes on falling and falling and falling. And what is indifference curve? It is the locus of different combinations, different points that represents different combination of two goods X and Y. And our consumer remains indifferent, means from A, B, C, D, from all 4 combinations, our consumer is going to receive equal level of satisfaction. So, this is all about indifference curve, and tomorrow we will discuss the assumptions and the characteristic of indifference curve. So, go through your books, notes, and if you get any doubt, you can contact me and you can clarify your doubt. Thank you and have a nice day.